ActRaiser was a game I had always been cautiously interested in. Part action platformer, part city builder, part shoot 'em up? Sounds a bit like too many cooks in the kitchen, right? Wrong. In spite of, or perhaps because of, the many different styles of play blended together, ActRaiser stands out as a refreshing, one-of-a-kind experience on the Super Nintendo that should not be missed. Let's take a look.
クリエーションの見事なる融合。スーパーファミコンゲーム。アクトレイザー。
Whoa, was that a cold opening? Neat. Anyway, ActRaiser. In ActRaiser, you are the master, or as the Japanese version puts it, Kami-sama, i.e., God. According to the manual, long ago you had your perfect world, ruling over all as a benevolent force. But, before long, Tanzra, or Satan, coveted your power, and with his 6 evil guardians did battle with you, forcing you to retreat to your sky palace and sleep off your wounds for a few hundred years. The people left on the island fell under the evil one's rule, and eventually, many even became monsters themselves, forgetting all about their benevolent god. After your centuries-long rest, you return to Earth to rid the land of the evil one. Unfortunately, with no one placing their faith in you, your power is severely diminished, and you'll need to build up followers if you wish to finish your fight with the evil one. As I stated earlier, ActRaiser takes on several different playstyles as the game progresses. First, you'll move your sky palace above one of the 6 towns, or what's left of them, and place your spirit within the statue of a mighty warrior, directly controlling them in side-scrolling platformer action. Armed with little more than a blade to start, you'll jump and slash your way through hordes of monsters, collecting power-ups as you go, each stage culminating in an awesome boss fight against one of the evil one's guardians. Destroying a guardian purifies the land, and a few faithful followers of yours return. Asking for your guidance, you now control an angel in a top-down view of the land. Through your angel, you can perform miracles, such as calling down lightning to burn away brush, or intensify the sun's rays to dry up marshland, and make it possible for your followers to build roads and homes. The objective here is to build up each town, as the total population goes towards leveling up, not unlike experience, granting you with more health and ability to travel to distant lands. To combat your efforts, monsters will spawn from their lairs and attempt to destroy your followers and the towns they're building. Luckily, your angel can fire arrows from the holy bow to defend your peoples. By building up a town over a monster's lair, your followers can seal the lair for good, not only making the simulation and shooting sections easier, but are often required to progress. As you assist your followers with building up their civilizations, they may come to you, sometimes posing a problem for you to solve, and sometimes to grant offerings to their benevolent god. Offerings can range from single-use items to help in the shooting sections, to more important civilization upgrades like growing wheat instead of corn. When you've built up a town enough, you'll often discover a source of great darkness, where one of the evil one's guardians have retreated to, often threatening your civilizations. Here, you'll return as the statue of the mighty warrior to finish the job. What makes ActRaiser so great is that you're never in one mode for too long, so the game constantly feels fresh. It's got excellent pacing. The action platforming segments are fairly short, and the bosses are all mostly fair. And during the simulation sections, you just might find some magic powers to cruise through those tougher action sections. Speaking of the simulation sections, it's not always as cut and dry as it may seem. Sometimes one village will come up with an issue that you simply can't solve. For example, you may need to build a bridge to cross a river and expand a town, but the settlers of this town don't know how to build bridges. Instead, you'll need to build up a different town with the knowledge of bridge building, who will then offer up that knowledge to their god in the form of an offering, which you can then be able to bestow upon the first town. These kinds of issues crop up all the time and offer an almost Metroidvania style of progression, jumping around the different towns and returning when you receive the appropriate offering to help them progress. The presentation is top-notch too. Excellent sprite work and a very Castlevania-esque soundtrack accompanies your godly duties as you deal with icy mountaintops, tropical jungles, and a lake of blood, to name a few. There's an interesting and somewhat obvious theme of Christianity's monotheism that Nintendo of America desperately tried to censor. The player, as the Christian god, goes around performing miracles and building up the faith of his believers. In fact, Satan's guardians bear striking resemblances to gods from other religions, all of whom the player must crush. The ending of ActRaiser also poses an interesting point, but one I'm not going to spoil here. The idea of these videos is to get you to play some of my favorite games after all. Religious symbolism aside, ActRaiser is an excellent and unique game, quite unlike any other game. In fact, the sequel, ActRaiser 2, completely removed the simulation sections in favor of a pure 2D action game. In an interview with Enix USA, former producer Robert Gerald said, At the time, I was convinced that players wanted action. They wanted to be challenged and pushed to new levels. I pushed Enix away from retaining the sim part of ActRaiser and toward a more challenging action title. I made that decision because I believed I knew what the consumer wanted. Gerald did learn from his mistake, however, as ActRaiser 2 would not receive the universal praise that the original game garnered, likely due to backlash from the removal of the well-loved simulation section and the variety it provided. This, however, only cements ActRaiser as one of those games that may never be recreated, and its well-crafted uniqueness makes it a game you should be playing. Huge shout out to Harvest Time and all my patrons. You guys are the best. With your support, I'm motivated to keep on making the best quality videos I can. If you want to see yourself here, help support the channel, and maybe even score some exclusive Cyberphile merch, my Patreon is in the description. Thanks again, everyone. You really are the best. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more Cyberphile content. And if you liked this video, show me with that little thumbs up button. If you liked this video, you might like one of my other videos. You can click right on the boxes to jump to them. Cyberphile, offline.